this is Carissa from Inky Fairy. My blog is Lady Guinevere's Inky Fairies, and I'm putting together the video today coloring Greeting Farm image with Copics. I've gotten a lot of requests to do that, and so I thought I would go ahead and do that today. I'm working on Cheeky Kitty, and I'm working on putting her on this birthday calendar that I am in the process of putting together. So I'm going to be using this Echo Park paper. It is called Apothecary. I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to use it. So I thought she would look really cute on that paper. What I'm using is 000, E000, E00, and then E11. So that's kind of my go-to skin color. I really like it, but I am trying to work out all different skin tones and colors, but this is kind of my go-to, and I figured that's what I would show you today. So I started by laying down some of the E00. I thought I was taping earlier and I wasn't, and then I heard the camera kick off, and that's when I realized I wasn't taping. So I do have a little bit of the E00 already down, or the E quadruple 0 already down. So then I'm just going to go lightly on her skin, her body here, and around here, because I think she's wearing thigh highs, and I'm good for now for that color. So like I said in the video that I didn't make earlier, that I thought I was making, I color light to dark and then dark to light. So I like to lay down my base color, my lightest color first as a base, and then I go back in and fill that with my darker colors. And I'm coloring just high colors, so I am not keeping my image still at all, even though I'm making a video, because I figure you want to see how I do it. And I move my image all around when I'm coloring, because I like to make little flicks when I'm coloring with my markers, and I like to flick away from myself. That's what works best for me, and that's pretty much anything that I'm coloring. So I laid down E000. Now I'm going to go in and lay down a little bit of the E00. And you'll see as I lay in each darker color, it gets a little bit, I don't put as much down. So I'm leaving nice and light right on the front of her face. Enough with the E00, and then my darkest color is the E11. It's barely beige, and I really like the contrast that this gives right along the hairline. So I just go in with this one, and I don't do flicks. I just lay down a nice little line right along the edge, and I try to make it a little bit smaller as we get to her face, and it gets lighter as we get towards her hairline. And I just realized I didn't do her skin, the rest of her body, so I'm just going to finish her face. I tend to do it all together usually, sometimes I don't. So now I'm going to go back in with the E00 and pull that E11 out just a tad with the little flicks. And you'll see it doesn't look like much right now. Kind of looks sloppy, but that's what you want. That's what I want. There are so many different ways to color with Copic. This is just my way. And here's the E000. My suggestion is to just play 000 is, you can kind of hear it, I think. It's getting to be, I need to refill it. So I'm gonna have to do that here. Maybe I'll do a video on refilling Copics. Yeah, you can hear it. When I hear that squeaky noise, and I don't see a lot of color, and it's kind of pushing, and I'm pushing harder, I know it's time. So my last color, E quadruple zero, and here I will do circles, and I will just start from the middle, and I'll bring it all around. And this is a digital image, and I am coloring it with Copics. I find with digital images, you really need to test out your ink, your paper, or your ink, your printer ink, to see if it's going to work with Copics. I had a really hard time with a Lexmark. When I had a Lexmark, I could not use digital images to save my life. And then I went and I got my hands on a Epson photo printer, and oh my gosh, it was amazing. As soon as I got that, I immediately tried to print out an image and tried to color it, and there's no smearing. As soon as I printed it out, I didn't have to let it sit overnight, I didn't have to heat set it, I didn't have to do anything, which is what I like because I don't have patience for all of that. So if I have to do all those steps in order to use a digital image, I don't. And so when I got my Epson, I was really happy because there are so many cute digital stamp companies that I just, I wasn't able to play with. So now I'm going in and I'm going to give her a little bit of a shadow on her skin. And I'm thinking the light is, I tend to think the light's coming from the right, so I'll leave that portion a little bit lighter as I go in with my colors. And it's the same thing, light to dark, and then I blend it all back from dark to light. And on the smaller surfaces, I tend to do just kind of whatever feels natural as far as my technique to lay down the color. I don't find that there's really a wrong way. It's just whatever is your way. Whatever way you are comfortable laying down that color. I can't tell you how to color. I can't tell anybody else how to color. I can just suggest how I do it. And when I'm doing the skin, I don't tend to go all the way to my E quadruple zero. It tends to look a little better if I leave my lightest as the triple. And so there's her skin. And for her cheeks on this one, I want her to be a little bit more rosy. If I just want a subtle rosy cheek, I use R20. If I want a little bit of a deeper shade, I'll go in with R22 first. So that's what I'm going to do with her. So yeah, with my cheeks, I start with dark. So I have no rhyme or reason. You guys will find that out. So I just dab a little bit, like how I think where the blush would be on her cheeks. Now I'm going to go in with the R20 and I'm going to pull that out a little bit. And I really am just using like little dabs to bring that out. And then my final, when I'm doing blush, I use R01. Pinkish vanilla. And that is a really light, almost like a skin tone. And I'm able to pull that out even more. And here I'm using some circular motions. Just trying to pull that out. And then the last thing that I do is I go back with my lightest skin tone, the E quadruple 0. And starting in that area, I just color her face again. And that's kind of just like blending it all together, giving it a nice, so it's kind of a natural looking, there's no line there. And so there you have Cheeky Kitty's skin with blush. And so I'm going to come back and do another video, and I'll color her hair, and then I'll color her clothes. But for now, doesn't she look cute? I think so. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.